Hello and welcome back to Desert DIY. Today I'm going to be doing a Goodwill Makeover little vintage side table, and this was a viewer's choice. So a lot of my viewers voted on what color I should paint this piece, and you will see what color I pick about halfway through the video, so stick through, and I can't wait to show you, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. I spent about $15 on this table, and upon further investigation I found out that this piece was actually handmade. Here are the initials of the maker, I assume. And the reason I know this is because there are a lot of imperfections in the actual building of this piece, and it is not something that you would see in a manufactured piece. I also found this little tool inside there, and it had the name of a shoe company, I believe, on there, as well as the city, Tucson, Arizona. So this is a local Arizona piece. I don't know if the maker of this piece is also the person who owned this tool. If you know what this tool is, let me know down in the comments below. But I'm pretty sure it's got to have something to do with like repairing shoes. I love finding stuff like this in pieces because I feel like it helps give the story of the piece. And vintage pieces always have a story. So this one I feel like might have been in a men's shoes shop or like a tuxedo shop, and was used like in front of a mirror, like a man's vanity where you could hang ties or something from those little side pieces. But I just sanded it down really, really well on the top. I took my time. I used 220 grit here. I wasn't trying to remove the finish because I already knew I was going to be painting this piece. I just wanted to make sure that the paint finish was going to be nice and smooth, so I smoothed out all the areas where the clear coat from before had started chipping off. It didn't have any veneer. This was not chipped veneer, although it kind of looks like that in the video. It's just so dry here that the oil-based polyurethanes even flake off if they get dried out. Just some thoughts on my method for sanding this piece. I use the electric sander for all the flat spots, and then I go back with a piece of sandpaper and hand sand all the round spots like you see me doing here. That way you don't create flat spots on the rounded edges, and it gives the rounded edges a really good grip for the paint when you go to paint them. So that way they don't get skipped and the paint sticks really well to every type of surface. Then I just go ahead and clean the piece really, really well. There are so many different products you can use to clean pieces. I like to use the microfiber cloths when I'm just using water. Microfiber gets off a lot of stuff on its own, and since I already sanded the entire surface of this piece, I knew that it was going to be nice and clean and there wasn't going to be much of, if anything, left behind to prevent the paint from sticking. Look at how neat that liner is inside this drawer. I thought it was going to be perfect with the color you guys chose for this piece, and I'll show you that very soon. But look at this liner. Isn't it so cute? I'm definitely keeping it. Here is the paint color you guys chose. It took me a while to count the votes, but you guys chose navy. But plum came in second, and I think I definitely will keep that in mind for another project in the near future to get some plum out for you guys, because there was so many of you who voted for plum as well. It was a pretty tight race. Now I'm just taping off these little legs on the bottom because I wanted to keep them wood. I'm also going to be keeping the drawer front wood, and I just wanted to have some peekaboo areas of the pretty wood grain that was on here. I feel like I could have actually taped off more areas and had more wood showing on this piece once I was done with it, but I didn't have a lot of painter's tape on hand, and I didn't want to have to go all the way in town to get the supplies for it. So I just did the best I could and thought of the best places that I would want some pops of wood. For those of you wondering what paint gun I'm using, it is a very cheap, about $10 paint gun that I get from Harbor Freight, and I use a 15-gallon air compressor to run it on around 40 psi. That's just the psi that I like to use for my climate, my paint types. And the paint color is called Stunning, and it is by Benjamin Moore. I really thought that was the perfect name for that paint color because it really was stunning. I loved it. It made this piece look very gentlemanly. To finish off the wood areas of this piece, I'm going to be using Restore a Finish in a dark walnut color. The reason I chose this product is because it keeps the original color of the wood and just shines it up really nice. So the areas that have scratches and now show bare wood will get stained by the stain inside the product, and the areas that are not scratched and still finished well are just going to get a nice oiling and look really beautiful and shiny again. I love doing this, and one suggestion I have for you guys with this product is to go one shade darker than the wood finish you're going to be using it on. That has always just worked better for me, so that's what I always do. When you go the exact color of the finish, you end up not matching it very well because when wood stains age, they do darken over time. So usually if the piece is older, go with a one shade darker than what it really is for your restore finish. In the legs down here, it was like practicing opening presents for Christmas, except it was like the kind of presents where they wrap like a big box and then a smaller box and then a smaller box and then a smaller box and then at the end it's like just a rock and then everybody laughs. I feel like that's what I was doing here. But once I started applying the Restore finish to the legs, it was like night and day. It looked almost brand new. I couldn't believe how well it worked on these legs and what a big difference it made. It even matched the same sheen as the paint. As you can see, look at the shine on the feet and then look at the shine on the paint. And the paint was a satin finish. So the shine is more of a satin, although it does look kind of glossy just from the glare of the light of my camera, but it was more satin finish looking. When you look at these ones over here, it's the same thing. It's just night and day the difference that this Restore finish makes, especially for our dry climate. It's like your wood just feels happy and new again. Look at the difference here. I feel like I'm doing an infomercial for Restore Finish. I promise I'm not. I just really like this product and I use it all the time on pieces that I have in my home already. Look at this one. That is the biggest difference out of all of them. I can't believe it stained it so well and so quickly. And it does have a bit of a smell to it, so I'll warn you about that. It does smell a bit like stain. So do it in an area where you're not going to be sleeping and it has good ventilation. Here it is, all finished. I love the color. Great choice, you guys. And I'm not just saying that because I love blue. I just feel like it suited this piece really well. And I love that since I sprayed it on, there are no brush strokes and you can see a bit of the wood grain through the paint. Thank you so much for voting and having fun with me on this project. If you liked what you saw, then please hit that subscribe button and help me reach my goal of hitting 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!